God never intended for you to try and obtain a spouse through your own self-effort. Reading every dating book that tells you all the things you must do before you qualify for a spouse. Going on date after date, being rejected or abused by person after person, working hard to be thought worthy and deserving of a mate. You don't have to worry about qualifying yourself. Not when God has already qualified you. Colossians 1:12. Giving thanks to the Father who has qualified us to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in the light. You are already qualified for all that God has for you. You are already qualified for the spouse that God has for you. God's design has always been for you to trust him and believe what his grace has already given you. Let's take a look at a few scriptures. Zechariah 4:6, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, said the Lord of hosts. Romans 11:6, and if by grace, then it is no longer of works. Otherwise, grace is no longer grace. But if it is of works, it is no longer grace. Otherwise, work is no longer work. See, you can't do it by your self-effort and talk about it was the grace of God. If it's going to be the grace of God, it's not going to be your self-effort. It's not going to be your doing. It's going to be the free gift that comes from God. And we receive that free gift through faith. But if you're going to try to do it yourself, then you can't call it grace. So when you try to do it yourself, then basically you inhibit grace from having its perfect work in your life. You can't have grace and self-effort at the same time. You're going to have to choose grace or you're going to have to choose self-effort. Look at 1 Corinthians 15:10. But by the grace of God, I am what I am. And his grace toward me was not in vain, but I labored more abundantly than they all, yet not I, but the grace of God, which was with me. As you can see, it's all about the grace of God. The grace of God allows us to be who we are. And when we're operating in the grace of God, we're able to labor more abundantly than others. We're able to do things that others can't do. We're able to be uncommon in our labor, uncommon in our work. We're able to accomplish so much more. 2 Corinthians 12:9. And he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. It's all about the grace of God. And we have to trust in him. We have to receive what his grace has already done. When you stop working to find a mate, then you can discover the truth. You are graced to find a mate. Psalm 68:6 tells us that he places the solitary in families. So you desire a family, and the good news is that he has already placed the solitary in family. And we know, according to Genesis, it's not good that man should be alone. And even going back to Genesis 1, male and female, he created them. So basically, he has created you a pair. He's already ordained it. It's already a done deal. God has already thought of you and prepared someone who is comparable to you, someone like you, who you are not embarrassed, ashamed, or disappointed with. The mistake many of us make is not trusting his grace and believing him. We have more confidence in our own self-effort.